Hello and welcome back to Colonial Airstream. I'm Patrick Botticelli and behind me is the all-new 2019 Airstream Sport Bambi 16RB. RB stands for rear bedroom. This is an extremely popular model for Airstream. It has been around for many years. A lot of owners that have one may have come from another brand travel trailer, tent camping, or even downsized from something much larger. But the trailer is so cute and popular, it'll fit right in the palm of your hand. The exterior length is 16 foot 4 inches. It's 8 foot wide on the exterior, 7 foot 7 inches interior width. 9 foot 3 is the exterior height. That's the very top of the air conditioning. And the interior height, which is the lowest point at the air conditioning, is 6 foot 4.5 inches. The gross vehicle weight rating is 3,500 pounds. That's the maximum weight the trailer could possibly be before you overload it. The dry weight before options is 2,860. The hitch weight, that's the tongue weight, the downforce on your trailer, is 378 pounds. Come on, let's head right inside. You're going to be surprised what Airstream could put in such a small footprint. This has a dinette that folds down into a 40-inch by 91-inch bed, so you can sleep 2 adults or 2 children here. If you notice, the dinette is up front, and they have a panoramic view. You can see all the way around. So if you're sitting here, you can see out the side, you can see out the front, you can see right behind you. A lot of people like that feature, having the dinette and the panoramic view, and this trailer features that. The cabinetry here is white cypress, so there's one interior decor, but you have choice of 2 ultra leather. You have tan or black, so there's your 2 choices. And each ultra leather has its own color pillows that comes with it. So on the tan, it'll be a tan colored pillow with a blue dot in it. 2-burner cooktop, automatic 2-way refrigerator. It's a 3 cubic foot. The microwave is standard. And the only option available for 2019 is a solar charging system. So it's an 80-watt panel, and they upgrade the battery from a lead acid deep cycle to an absorbed glass mat deep cycle. That's a 12-volt series. In the kitchen area, you have a sink and storage below. There's a privacy curtain that pulls across, and that is so when you get out of the bathroom, you can get changed in here and you don't have to close all your blinds. And there's a wardrobe next to the bed. You have overhead roof lockers, and there's storage below the bed, and it comes with plastic bins that you could pull through, or you could take them from the outside. Also, by the entry door, there's a dry erase board, there's a coat rack here, and there's a drawer below the dinette. Now, I want to go over some of the more specifics of this trailer and teach you how some of the stuff works and a little bit about how it's made. This is aluminum interior skin. The aluminum interior skin is the same skin that's on the exterior. The exteriors are buck riveted in place, the interiors are pop riveted in place. There's Ecobat insulation in between. There's flex foil insulation below the floor. Below the floor, it's wrapped up in aluminum, so it's an enclosed underbelly. And you have heated tanks. So when you have your forced head air furnace on, that will duct airflow down into your gray black tank and circulates air around the tank to give you a higher threshold protection for cold weather camping. Your freshwater tank is in the body, so as long as you have the room heated, your freshwater tank's heated as well. There's aluminum ribs, and the rib structure runs throughout, and there's a steel chassis below us. And they put the shell onto the chassis, and then they hand carry all this furniture that's in this trailer through this entry door. So none of the furniture has anything to do with the structural integrity of the shell. It's just inside the shell. It's a little bit different than other manufacturers that rely on refrigerator cabinets, wardrobe cabinets, and bed furniture to keep their box from racking. This is the owner's bag that comes with all the Airstream trailers. Inside here is all the owner's manuals for all the components in the trailer, as well as one from Airstream. And Airstream even throws in a newbie guide to owning an Airstream. The table we talked about earlier, it folds down into a bed. It's a very easy procedure to do. Just flip up these cushions like this. We're going to do the same on the other side. This just snaps into the wall, the bolster, so it doesn't roll around when you're driving. And the table lifts out of cleats in the wall, and then you push this button and it snaps the leg up table swings down, lays on top of the benches. A lot of people think that would make an uneven bed, but Airstream already thought about that. They make a thinner cushion here. This one's a little bit thicker. It makes up that gap, gives you a more flush sleeping experience. And then this you could use as a headboard to the bed. And there you go. So it's 91 inches across. And then what some people also do is they take some of these extra cushions and lean them against the wall, and they make it into a deep lounge. You could get some more pillows here, lay them down, you could use it as some type of a lounge. And to bring it back up, it's a pretty simple task. I just hook these back on with these Velcro strips, lift them out of the way. This gives me a moment to show you how they're made and all the stitching here. This is ultra leather from Ultra Fabrics. It's smooth, it's non-porous, it allows your body to breathe, and you could pour things on it. Water beads up, rolls right off, and you can see the little stitching here. There's a zipper on the back. You could open it up and take the cushion out if you ever wanted to replace it. And there's a little plastic in here that you can hook up to a vacuum. It compresses it so you can pull it out, and then you keep it compressed and put it back inside the case. That's if you ever decided to take the cover off. To bring the table up, just swing it up, make sure it hooks into both cleats, and make sure you drop the leg. Make sure that's secure. Then these fold down, flips up, snaps into the wall. And then on this side is an access hatch to get to your water pump. So I'm going to climb right on top because this is a 3/4 inch plywood here, so this is very sturdy, and it's all held together. There's no particle board, there's no vinyl sticker wrap. It's all laminate over plywood, and it's all pocket holes screwed together. But you have access to your water pump, the strainer for the water pump, the drain for the freshwater tank, 23 gallons, and a low point drain for winterization. It also has a solar controller and the main 7-way tie-in for the trailer. So you don't want to store things in this compartment. And then off to the side here, there's a kill switch to shut down the battery system. If you're going to leave it in storage, you could shut down the battery. So if you did leave an item on, like a light, it's not going to drain the battery over time. And this hatch sits right in its groove there. Flip the cushion over. And now it's back to a dinette. Above the dinette is a Bluetooth stereo. It's a JVC. This flips down. You can put CDs in, or you can sync your smartphone to it and stream audio. There's a USB charge port above, and there's USB input on the side. So if you want to plug an MP3 player into the stereo, they give you an input there. These are just for charging. It comes with a remote control too, and it's pretty good audio. There's 2 speakers in this model. The wireless backup/driving camera is standard for 2019. So there's a monitor that goes in your vehicle. You plug it into a 12-volt socket, turn your parking lights or headlights on in your vehicle. That'll activate the rear camera, and you can see what's going on behind you, not only when you're backing up, but the whole entire time when you're driving. It's a good safety feature. Airstream felt that it was so important that they made it standard for 2019. And these timbre doors, when you bring them up all the way, they'll lock in a groove. To unlock, you just push in, and that unlocks it. And that microphone, everybody questions about that. What is that for? That's for the stereo. So if you do get a telephone call, you could answer with the remote control, and you could do Bluetooth commands through it as well. And the other side is a mirror image. It just doesn't have the stereo. LED light over the dinette, manual control here. There's a ceiling light switch right here when you walk in. Too bright, right? There's 4 elements that come on. You could shut one off, you could shut both off. You could just have one on if you want, and that will conserve battery juice. Also next to that is the bathroom light, and then there's a step light. There's a light outside next to the step that illuminates the step area, so you could leave that on at night. These are blackout curtains. They snap right into the wall here. They're on an aluminum rail. You could bring them all the way around, and you could Velcro them together, and you could get total privacy in this trailer. And then this middle window opens all the way out. This is tinted safety glass. And it's a tempered glass, so if it does shatter, it shatters into little cubes. That's code by RVAA. As well as the fire extinguisher, the emergency exit, the carbon monoxide detector, and propane and smoke are all in this trailer. To open the window, you first have to open the rock guard on the outside. We're going to look at that a little bit later. Pull, twist, and you lift both arms, both handles, and snaps into 3 different heights. So you have plenty of ventilation up front here. Down here on the floor, there is the propane leak detector we spoke about. That's always on. So as long as the battery is charged in the trailer, that will monitor the air quality in the trailer. There's no batteries for it. It's hooked into the battery of the travel trailer itself. And it's when you hit the kill switch, that will stay on. It is very sensitive, so you spray your aerosol by it or pet sleep by it, sometimes it will set it off. The Dometic refrigerator, just push up, open. You got a little freezer up top. This thing's been on. It takes about 7 hours to cool down, so turn it on the day before your trip. There's a little fan switch off to the side. It's thermostatically controlled. It ventilates the compartment on the outside. So I recommend on a warmer day, just leave that switch on. But it is thermostatically controlled, so even if the refrigerator isn't on, if that switch is on, the fan will kick on and off periodically. These shelves are removable and adjustable. You could pop these shelves out here, and it's plumbed outside, so when it defrosts, there's a pan and it drips outside the trailer. You turn it on, you just lift up this panel here. There's an on-off switch. It will default to automatic, so it's automatically going to search to see if we have electricity. If we don't, it's going to run on propane, as long as you have propane and your propane tank's on. You can manually run it on gas if you want, just by pushing the gas button out, and then it will switch over to propane gas, and it will try to ignite. If it can't ignite, the check light will come on and stay on. That's a warning to let you know that it could not ignite. I always leave it on automatic and let it decide whether I have electricity or I need to run on propane. And it is recommended to leave that off when you're traveling down the highway. Turn it on, 7 hours gets it cool. Put your items in it, get them cool, shut it off, hit the road, shut your propane tanks off. When you get to your destination, turn it back on. That's the safest way to do it. And then there's a kit you could buy aftermarket if you want to reverse the door so it opens this way. Next to that, we have a storage compartment. It's all premium hardware here. This hardware detaches, so you could gain access if you needed to get to service here. The wheel wells behind there, some wiring and plumbing. These hinges, this cap comes off and you can adjust the angle and the way the door closes. So over time, if things shift around, you have full adjustment of the hardware. And there's a J-latch that keeps that door shut so it doesn't pop open when you're driving. The metal box drawer on this model, the door face is plywood with laminate, and it comes with a silverware organizer. The stereo has a detachable face, so you can put it in this case here. And Airstream gives you a GFCI receptacle electrical outlet tester. It's good practice once you plug it in a campground, just to go and test one of your outlets to make sure that you are wired correctly at the campground. It's a good peace of mind. Below the sink, there's storage here. You can put the sink cover here. You could put a lot of other items, and it's an open compartment, so when you have your furnace on, the airflow gets behind here to heat your plumbing in a colder day. The sink is a stainless steel sink. It's a thick gauge, so you don't have to worry about denting up. Got a high quality Moen residential faucet, so you could always go to a home center and buy a replacement down the road if you needed to. There's a remote control for the TV. 2-burner cooktop. There's a high output and a low output. It's got a battery spark ignition. You just turn it on to light, hold that in, and press the ignite button, and all the little spark will be next to each one of the burners. And then there's obviously another dial here for the other burner. There's a GFCI protected electrical outlet in the galley here. There's one under the dinette as well. And there's another one up in the cabinet that the microwave occupies. Lots of storage above. You have another LED light over, test light over the kitchen. Aluminum blinds behind the sink, and you can unclip them and pull them all the way up. And that allows you to open the window from inside. There's an insect screen here as well. It's got a high gloss gray accent wall, so you can see the contrast here. There's 3 different colors. Water heater, 6 gallons with electric spark ignition. So when you flip this switch up, the red light will come on. The water heater is trying to ignite at this point. It's going to keep trying to ignite. Once it does, you'll have hot water in about 15-20 minutes. It superheats that water. If it misfires, like it did, I don't have the propane on, or I don't have propane in the trailer at all, the red light will come on to warn you that it could not ignite. It shut off. Tried to ignite, nothing there, shut off. It will keep trying again for a few more times, and then it will completely quit and leave the red light on. The Sea Level 2 tank monitoring system allows you to monitor battery juice. We have 13.5 volts. Freshwater capacity, we're at 0% right now. It is a 23-gallon tank, so it will give you levels and percentage so you can do the math. And your gray-black tank combination is 0. That's empty right now. That's a 21-gallon tank. So it does take quite a bit to register on the scale here. So if you use the toilet for a few days, a couple, you might not even register anything. You just need to fill that level up high enough to start registering. Water pump is a demand 12-volt pump. You turn the pump on. The pump will come on, pressurize the water system, and then when it feels a drop in pressure, the pump will kick on. As soon as you shut the faucet off and it repressurizes, the pump shuts off, on, off, on, off. When you're hooked up to city water connection, you don't need the water pump on, and there will be a little green light above it to indicate that the water pump's on. And never leave that on when you're towing down the highway. If the faucet accidentally kicks on, you could flood out your trailer. Air conditioning, there's 11,000 BTU air conditioning with electric heat strip. So it has a little coil just like in the back of a hairdryer. When you have it on the optional heat setting, that will glow cherry red and the fan will blow low air over it and take the chill out of the air. That's not your main source of heat, but it's an alternative source of heat. On air conditioning, you have 3 different fan speeds, and there's also just a fan blower available. So if you just want to circulate air in this trailer, you could do so. There's filters here that you could pop out. You got to clean these periodically. They do get clogged pretty easily with lint from towels, sheets, bedding. So you want to make sure they're clear so you don't overwork your air conditioning and burn it out. And there's louvers here that you can open up on all the different sides, and there's an Instacool that it dumps air straight down, and you have a lot of control over the air conditioning shroud here. For regular ventilation, we have a fantastic fan. This has a variable speed control, and you can manually crank the lid open. Just remember to shut it if it's going to rain, and it has a quick release screen here, so if you want to clean the fan blades, you can pop this insect screen off. You can also buy accessories that go on top of this, so you can leave it open when you're driving or if it's raining out. There's a 4-amp fuse here that is sacrificial if the fan blade was to get stuck on some debris. It would pop the fuse versus the motor. In the bedroom, we talked about it before, the pillow top memory foam mattress. This is a very high quality mattress. A lot of our Airstream owners are very satisfied with the quality of this mattress. They don't rush out and go out and buy a brand new mattress. This is the emergency exit window here. This is on a hinge. There's no insect screen because you have to be able to get out in a very quick manner in such a small trailer. But there, on the side here, there is a window that opens for ventilation, has an insect screen. And then for full privacy, it's got a set of curtains just like we did in the front, and these Velcro together. And that will keep a lot of the light and heat out of the trailer. And you know, all those folks that want to come over and check out your Airstream trailer and peek in the windows, you're going to have a little privacy for those occasions too. There's 2 lights over the bed here. You have an overhead roof locker over the bed as well. Both sides open all the way up. Carbon monoxide detector in the bedroom. Bedroom ceiling light. Again, you could shut off one element if you would like. At the very head of the bed, there's USB charge ports, so you could charge your cell phone or devices. And then there's a hamper that you could put items in, bedding, sheeting, pillows. There's one here, and there's also one at the foot of the bed as well. The furnace control is here on the wall. This has a 12,000 BTU gas furnace. The blower motor runs on battery juice, and the spark is battery. Just turn it on. It's very stiff, so don't think you're going to break it. You don't want to hit a bump and have the furnace kick on when you're driving, not wanting to. And you can adjust your temperature here. It's a little warm today. I'm not going to run this, but I just wanted to show you the operation. And just to shut it off, turn it all the way off, hear it click, and it'll run through its cycle. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to completely shut down. At the foot of the bed, the television is on an articulating arm, and that can lock in place, and you make sure it's locked in before you tow. But when you're ready to use it, just pull it out, and that releases. And you have access to USB, HDMI ports in the back. And on the wall is an HDMI cable that hooks up to the front stereo, which is also a DVD player, so you can watch movies in bed. And there's an antenna on the roof. There's an omnidirectional antenna. It looks like a mushroom on the roof. And there's an antenna booster at the foot of the bed that is a black button with a little green light next to it. When you press that in, that will amplify that signal for this television. Then you just go through your menu and source settings and do an auto program, and it will find all the over-the-air channels that you can get in your current position. If you don't get enough channels, you can always move the trailer away from underneath trees or next to buildings and see what other signal you get. Just don't leave that on when you don't have the television on, because it will drain the battery system down. In the wet bath, there's a towel bar on the back of the door, and the handle is just one of these slide pocket handles, so there's no handle sticking out that you could get caught on. But you know, when you're in here, you can lock it if you need to. The wand hangs up on the wall, and when we go outside, you could actually see where you could pass this through, and you could reach in and you could get the hot and cold controls here for the hot and cold water. Toilet, porcelain bowl, halfway on the pedal fills the bowl up, all the way opens the bowl valve and allows the waste to drain down. So you have a decision how much water you want to fill this bowl up before you use the toilet. A cup, 2 cups, a gallon, whatever you decide, it's your control how much you're putting in. And when you're done, just flush it all the way down. Recommended to leave the toilet bowl empty when you're traveling, meaning there's no water in the bowl so it doesn't splash around. The shower pan has this stainless steel threshold here, and there's a drain plug. It's very important to keep this drain plug in when you're traveling. You don't want that water in that P-trap that blocks the sewer gas from getting in the trailer to dissipate and allow sewer gas into the trailer. Or if you have a full tank of black gray tank, you don't want the sewage to come up in the trailer. Just put this in when you're traveling. It's a good idea, it's good practice before you take a shower to come over here and see how much waste you have, because you don't want to top the tank off if you're in the shower. There's a medicine cabinet in here, there's a mirror, and then there's shelves here that are removable. You can adjust your height. The light has holes drilled into it to allow moisture to drain out if the moisture content got very high in here. The vent line fan, you just push straight up, push the red button, and that will ventilate stale air or moist air out of the bathroom. Just make sure you turn it off and pull down. Make sure it's fully snug before you start traveling, because water from the roof can get down here. This window's in its fixed position because when the entry door opens, it comes right up against it, so you wouldn't want to leave the window open and smash it in between. Toilet paper holder's protected by this shower curtain when you pull it across. And there is a clothesline for light items that you could pull across, lock in, spin the little dial, and you could hang your bathing suit or anything light from this. I don't recommend putting any towels on it. They're a little bit too heavy for what it was designed for. And you have a shade here for privacy when you're in the bathroom. And then these walls are laminate, just like the countertop, and it's caulked seams, so you just want to check your seams periodically. The trailer expands and contracts, things move when you're on the highway, so you want to make sure that the shower is maintained properly. At an entry door, you can see that there's a rubber bumper here, so if you don't duck when you get out the entry door, you don't skin your head on the top here, and there's a heavy-duty grab handle on your exit. The MSRP on this trailer is $50,484, and that's with the one available option, which is the 80-watt solar charging system with a absorbed glass mat battery, which is $1,250. So the base price is $47,900. $1,250 for the solar charging system, and Airstream's equalized destination, that's the same destination charge for all the dealers in the country, is $1,334. And we mentioned earlier, it's black or tan ultra leather, both. There's no charge for them. You just pick which color you'd like. To get out of the door, just lift up on the handle and head right out. Screen door detaches from the main door. You can see it's all TIG welded, aluminum construction, insect screen here, kick plate on the bottom. Goes right into the extruded aluminum structure for the entry door. It's all TIG welded there as well. It's on an angle, so if water comes right here, it rolls right out. And when you close the main entry door, it meets back up with the screen and comes together. And this little piece here blocks the handles, so you don't have a gap going into the trailer. Heavy duty deadbolt, heavy duty entry door handle. That signature slam that everybody loves. Tinted privacy glass here at the entry door. This frame here is all hand riveted in place. Extruded aluminum gutter rail over the door allows sheathing rain to run away from the door instead of running down the front. And it has an extruded aluminum belt line protection. That's where the two seams of the aluminum overlap and are riveted. This dresses it up, protects it. Heavy duty cast aluminum hinges here. They're extremely robust, but I consider each one a work of art. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then this all meets up with the underbelly roll pan here with the bottom rub rail protection. Entry step just lifts up and tucks away. It's steel with gloss black paint. Underbelly's wrapped up in aluminum. Entry door light, there's an LED light outside. Airstream achieved the Emerald rating for the certified green, and it has the RVA stamp of approval here on the side. LED running lights on the top and around, and tail lights. When the entry door opens, it clips in. This prevents the door from blowing around on a windy day. You just unclip it, and you can see the heavy duty gasketing here for the door. And the back of the door has aluminum sheathing here, and there's insulation here as well. Each door takes about 8 hours to manufacture. That's a whole shift at Airstream plant. So think of how many doors they have to make a day, how many people are dedicated to it. There's a lockable shower compartment. You could grab the wand from the shower inside, you could pull it out. You can reach right in, get the hot and cold water. You can hose yourself off, some of your equipment, your feet, your dog. Very clever here, but all the Airstreams have an outside shower. The Sport and the Base Camp have a pass-through like this, so it's a very unique and clever idea. Aluminum Sport medallion here. The rims are 14-inch rims, and it has the Goodyear Endurance. It has two 1575R 14-inch. And the tire pressure on these Endurance 14s are 65 psi. So I always want to recommend that you check your tire pressure. If you're not sure in your trailer, check the sticker on the VIN plate. It'll tell you what your recommended tire pressure is. It's crucial to make sure that you're at the correct pressure. Lug nut torque. Make sure you check your lug nut torque before every trip. There is a specification in your owner's manual. Each trailer line might be different, so you want to check your own particular trailer. And if you ever remove the tire to do your bearing maintenance, every 3,000 to 5,000 miles is recommended. Even though the hub manufacturer says up to 10,000, we tell you 3 to 5 is a better practice. Once you put that tire back on, you want to check your lug nut torque every 5, 10, 15, 20 miles, just so you make sure it seats properly before you travel cross country. This has never adjust braking system. It's drum brakes. This is a self-adjusting brake system, so you don't have to get underneath there and adjust the drum shoes out. It is self-adjusting. Outside GFCI protected electrical outlet. In order for any of the outlets in the trailer to work, including your microwave and air conditioning, you have to have the trailer plugged into electricity. The reset is not built into it. The reset's inside the trailer, underneath the bed, at the foot of the bed. There's a power converter charger that converts AC to DC, charges your battery. Once you open up the louver, inside you're going to see a 30 amp breaker for the whole entire trailer and different 20 amp breakers for electrical outlets, microwave, and then one with the GFCI reset for any of your wet outlets. That's your kitchen, bathroom, outside, electrical, and refrigerator. Next to that are regular automotive ATC fuses. Those are for your water pump and your fans and your lights inside the trailer. Below that is the battery charger portion, and there's a fan that will kick on to cool the compartment down periodically. Just make sure you keep that clear and you don't put clothes up against it so it ventilates. Underneath the trailer here, there's a jack location. So there's a plate riveted to the frame of the trailer with a decal that says jack that points to the location to jack up the trailer in case you get a flat tire. Spare tires up front underneath the A-frame, and the jack is in your tow vehicle, so you're going to use that. You just want to make sure you have a proper tool to get your lug nuts off in your tow vehicle. It's recommended to get a basic toolkit when you have an RV or travel trailer to fix things on the road if necessary. Stabilizer jacks are all four corners. There's a tool in the trunk that we could crank these down. Now this is just to take the bounce out of the walk. It's not to lift the trailer up or level it. It's strictly for stabilizing. It's recommended to put a larger plate, maybe a leveling block underneath the trailer or wood underneath the jack to prevent it from digging into the dirt. These corners here are stretch formed aluminum, so it's the same flat aluminum sheet that you see on the side that Airstream pulls over a stretch form and causes this this curve here, and it's all buck riveted into place. You can see the housings here for the LED taillights, license plate bracket with the bright light here. That's the wireless backup camera with the little antenna. Beautiful Airstream lettering here. There's a raised lettering they do. You can see your roof clearance lights up top. And then the trunk is lockable, insulated, and weather sealed, and it has these squeeze locks. So when you push down on it, it squeezes that trunk tight. But you just lift and twist, open it up. You can see how much insulation's in between here. It's all aluminum. And then this has the bins. We pulled them out from the inside, but now when we have it outside, we can see what Colonial Airstream includes in the RV starter kit. So in all our kits, we include a premium waste hose, which I have on display on the side. A freshwater hose is a 25-foot. Drop-in tablets for the gray-black tank, 1 dose per tank full. We give you some gloves, because when you touch the soar hose after you use it, you want to use some gloves. And underneath the hatch, underneath the dinette where the water tank is, you could hook up this siphon tube to the inlet side of the water pump, stick this into a jug of antifreeze, and you could siphon the antifreeze through the system. We teach you that during our orientation here at Colonial. The orientation lasts a few hours, and we go through everything in the trailer, teach you how everything works inside and out, hook it properly up to your tow vehicle. If you bought some type of hitch system, we'll demonstrate that as well. And then we recommend that you stay the night at our dealership so you can camp out in your trailer and try everything out before you hit the road and go back home, or stay local for a few days if you want to stay at a campground. Toilet paper in here as well, and we give you a hitch lock too. So the coupler on the trailer, so no one can steal your trailer, we lock that so no one can get a ball up underneath it. There's a rubber mat here down on the floor. This is a new feature for 2019 on all the Airstreams. So you have the vinyl floor throughout, and they put a rubber mat on top. So when you throw things in and out of the trunk, it doesn't gouge the floor. This is the tool that you would use to bring down your stabilizer jacks we mentioned. Okay. And some people cut this and they stick this into a drill and zip them down that way. It's your choice. This is the tool we're going to use to operate the awning. And then there's a total of 8 bins in here. And there's a light inside this compartment to illuminate it at night. So if you can't see what you're searching for, you could turn on that light. On this side of the trailer, we have your 25-foot 30-amp power cord. We're plugging it to 30 amp on the building. If you want to bring the trailer home, you want to charge it, you can plug it into a regular electrical outlet, but we give you this premium adapter, not one of those little short stubby ones that will melt on you. This premium adapter adapts your power cord to a regular household electrical outlet. You can pretty much do everything in the trailer with this except for run your air conditioning. It's recommended to have a true 30 amp. This is a twist lock. You just spin it, twist, and pull. The red light will illuminate, not because there's a problem. Red sometimes means bad, but it just means that you have power going into the trailer. Below that, we have your cable TV inlet. So you can hook it to cable at a campground. You get the little cable box, hook it inside the trailer, and now you'll have any of the reception that they have available at the campground through their cable service provider. I do recommend bringing a 20-foot coax cable cord with you. The dump station, this has a combination gray-black 21-gallon tank. Take the cap off, okay? I'm going to come over here and open up the waste hose storage tube. Okay, you don't want to store this in the trunk. And then we're gonna snap that on, nice and secure. This is a premium hose too. This is going to last quite a bit of time. This is 10 foot, so it stretches out long enough to use at the campsite. And then we give you this elbow. It's a clear elbow. 3 different screw-in thread types. I guarantee their screws are, the threads are stripped. So you can put this donut on, slip it in, and you just snap your hose into it, and then you pull the discharge, and that will allow the tank to drain the waste. It is good practice to leave this closed and let the waste build up in the tank. So when you pull the handle out, you get a good flush out of the tank. After you're all done with the trailer and you're going to put away in storage, after you empty the tank, leave the handle open. You could hook up a garden hose, not your white freshwater hose, a garden hose to this connection. And under the water pressure coming in, there's a wand inside of the tank that sprays the walls and get rid of all the residual waste in the tank and flushes it out. Very good practice to use that each and every time you're done with the travel trailer at the campground. And then at night, if you're trying to do this, there's a dump station light, LED light, to illuminate this area. And then once you get this, all the water down and waste down into the campground, you could unconnect the end and stick the hose in your waste hose storage tube and put it away. There's little reflector lights throughout the trailer. This is your 12,000 BTU furnace exhaust, so don't put any combustibles in this area. The water heater, 6-gallon DSI, direct spark ignition water heater. This is the exterior of it. You don't want to store things in here, but there is a drain plug here on the side that you have when you want to drain it down for winterization. And then inside the wardrobe in the trailer, there's an access hatch to get into the bypass valves, because basically what you're doing, instead of pumping 6 gallons of antifreeze into the water heater when you winterize the trailer, you could bypass it and loop the plumbing around the water heater so you could winterize the rest of the water lines, and then you just simply pull the drain plug on the outside. The air conditioning has a drip tube that runs right here behind the wheel. So you might get someone that comes over and say, hey buddy, your trailer's leaking water by your water connection here. What it is a condensate tube. Most trailers, the air conditioning condensate drips right off the roof, right down the side, leaves streaks. Airstream runs it through a channel. Very smart. The wheel well is all insulated too. There's an ABS plastic and there's insulation above it. You have a city water connection, so if you want to bypass your 23-gallon freshwater tank, you could hook water hose connection right up here, turn on the water at the campground, and then it has a water pressure regulator built into it, 45, 55 PSI. So you don't have to worry about carrying an extra water pressure regulator with you, unless you do some type of external water filtration system. You might want to protect that from high water pressure. And it's a good practice to put the cap back on before you tow. Safety glass window, this is the kitchen window we saw on the inside. This is the refrigerator ventilation, so never store anything in here, but I can hear the fan running. That's the switch I turned on inside. It says reefer fan, that means refrigerator. This is a lockable, potable water tank. Take the cap off, stick the water hose I gave you loose in this hole here. Turn the water on low, you don't need it full pressure. Let the tank fill. And it relieves out of a valve here. This allows the air out of the tank, but it also is an overflow. And then the drain for it was when I opened up the dinette and lifted up, there was a drain valve built into the floor there. This is the tire information and VIN information. So if you ever want to check the VIN number of your trailer, what year it is, what model you have, tire pressure, it's located right here on all the Airstream travel trailers. On the earlier models in the 70s and 60s, it was built right into your medallion that told you what model you had. The bottom of it would have been your VIN number. And the waste hose storage tube, make sure that cap is on secure before you tow, because you'll lose your waste hose on the highway. There's a 3M film here up front that protects the body from rock chips from going through the clear coat. Usually the rest of the travel trail line, except for the Sport, has heavy-duty rock guards, stainless steel wrap protectors on it. But since a lot of folks are using a smaller vehicle like an SUV to tow a trailer like this, they use the 3M film. It reduces weight and cost, but you can add them aftermarket. It's about $750 a side if you decided to do so. This is the solar stone guards. These are the stone guards that protect the front safety glass from shattering when you're towing. There's 2 tethers that you stretch Then you can lift the rock guard and spin the knurl knob over on both sides, and that allows you to open your window to 3 different heights. Then, if you want to clean the glass behind this rock guard, you can take a screwdriver and you turn a 1/4 turn. This comes out and you can lift it off and clean your glass. Just make sure you put them on before you tow, and then when you put them on, make sure they're secure. You can't pull them out because you don't want these to fly open when you're driving. It's very, very good practice to not only follow the checklist in the front of the owner's manual, but to make your own and go through all this stuff before you hitch up and go. You should be surprised how many things you could forget in the course of packing and getting ready for a trip. Aluminum bottle cover here. Has a rubber tether here to keep it down. There's 2 20-pound propane tanks. They're steel bottles. These are exchangeable size. That's unique to this trailer. Some of the other models are 30 or 40 pounds. You have to go out and get them filled and find a place that does fill them. These you can drop off when you get fuel, pick up a new tank, and continue on your trip. They're both hooked into the same system, but you decide left or right bottle. The trailer comes with a barbecue quick disconnect. This is for a low pressure grill. And the low pressure grill is a smaller little cooked camping stove, not like a regular barbecue. And right up front here, you could snap this in. This goes into the fitting, you just slide it back, and then you could turn the gas on, and this will be hooked into your grill. And they purposely only give you a little bit because they don't want you to carry it around and put it under your awning and light a fire under your awning. So they purposely give you enough so you can't do that. But most people have a regular grill, and a camping grill is just not going to do it for them. So in that situation, all you'd have to do is just take one of your bottles out or disconnect one of your bottles and get an extension hose for your grill, and then you could hook your grill directly into one of the propane tanks on the trailer. So you could decide which is a better alternative for you. And then this cover comes off with this screw here. You lift the cover off, it loosens the clamp so you can get your bottles out. You don't want to try to pull the bottles through here. They won't fit. It's purposely designed so you have to remove the cover. Behind here is the battery box for the absorbed glass mat optional battery part of the solar. If you slide this one over, there's enough room to put a second battery if you want to gain some more amp hours in battery storage, and then you just have to hook them up in parallel 12 volt. Next to that, we have the Zamp quick disconnect. So if you want to have a portable panel, say the trailer's parked in the shade and you want to get some solar gain with a portable panel, if you plug in a Zamp solar panel, it shuts that system off and then provides solar gain from an external portable. This is a standard feature. You don't have to get the solar charging system in order to get that. Up on the roof, there's a Zamp quick port up there with 3 different connections. So we occupy one with the 80-watt panel that's up there already. But if you wanted to put additional panels, if you could find room for them, you could plug them into that existing hardware. Manual hitch jack. You can add one electric hitch jack aftermarket if you decide to do so, but the way this is geared, it's simple, it's not a big task. I could actually hook and disconnect a lot quicker with this than electric hitch jack. Coupler lock we include here. Once you get that off, you got to slide the coupler forward and then lift up, and then you can lift it off the ball. And this is a box frame, it's not a C-channel, so it's a very rigid frame. And it's got a gloss black paint, so you can buy regular Rust-Oleum paint and touch it up if necessary. This is the trailer breakaway cable. This will pull out if the trailer ever came disconnected from the tow vehicle, so the trailer doesn't pass you in the shoulder. But never pull this out when you're disconnecting the trailer and leave it out. If this is pulled out and left out, over a period of several hours, it'll drain the batteries in your trailer, and it's not good for them. And if once the batteries die, the brakes are going to unlock anyway. So if you're trying to use it as a parking brake, that's not going to work either. So just make sure this always goes back in if you ever pull it out. And then inspect this cable, make sure it's not frayed. Safety chains here. You could crisscross, you have to crisscross them, but you could spin them to take the slack out. You don't want them dragging on the ground, but you also don't want them too tight. You got to be able to turn. And then the 7-way trailer plug. The vehicle you're going to use to tow this has to be equipped with a 7-way, the 6 spades and one pin. And it's recommended that the vehicle has a 12-volt charge lead, so you can trickle charge the battery when you're driving down the highway. Your vehicle's also going to need to have an electric brake control installed, whether it's factory or aftermarket, so it's something to consider. We highly recommend using a weight distribution kit with sway control. The brand that a lot of our customers enjoy is the Equalizer brand. It has a 4-point sway control. Now, I would use something with about a 600-pound bar on a trailer like this. You don't want to oversize the bars because you want a nice soft ride in between. If you get a flat tire, we spoke about where you're going to jack it and the tools you're going to use, but how do you get to the spare tire? You're going to crank this jack up as high as it goes, then you're going to pull this pin out, slide this one across, and then the tire drops down. And once the jack's up high enough, you could gain access to it. It's not clamped in, it's just cradled. Very important to check your tire pressure on your spare tire too. A lot of times you get a flat tire, go and pull the spare out, well that one's flat too, now you're stuck. So make sure you check that before every trip. And it's the same size tire, same capacity, just on a steel rim. Let's pull this awning out. So the Zip-D awning is a very high quality awning. This awning should last the lifetime of the trailer. How it works, I undid the locks, I pull it down, keep my hands on it so it doesn't roll up, lock the rafter arms in place, and then since the awning's so sharp, I'm going to put this one up 3 notches. I'll put this one up 4, and then I can pop this one up if I wanted to make it even. Just remember to rhyme 4 by the door. You got to be on the 4th setting by the door so the door doesn't rub. And if it's light rain, you could tilt it so the water runs this way. This rolls up nice and neat and tucks into a little pouch here so you don't have to worry about it hitting you in the face. And if you get high wind or heavy rain, put her away. The best practice, just put it away if you're unsure. If you're going to be out for the day, I'd recommend putting it away as well. Well, I'm Patrick Botticelli with Colonial Airstream. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the brand new 2019 Airstream Sport Bambi 16RB. You can visit us on our website at colonialairstream.com. Our telephone number is 800-265-9019. Find me on Facebook. I'm Colonial Patrick. Hope to see you soon.